Nice to meet you.
Okay, good. Nice to meet you too.
How are you?
How
You
do
good?
I pronounce your name? Is it Matteo?
Matteo.
Matteo.
Yeah,
Nice
Matteo.
to meet you. Thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, my pleasure. I looked up on your Instagram page, and your art is fantastic. So that's why I was like, yeah,
Thank you.
let's have a conversation.
Wonderful. And you're an artist as well, I see.
Yeah, I'm an artist as well. I do some curating here and then. I do some freelancing in curator, and I live in Berlin.
Yes.
So I moved
Yes.
here. Yeah, I moved here 1 year ago. Um, Pretty
Oh,
much.
from where?
I was living in the UK, in England.
Oh, in the UK.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But yeah, then I got offered a position in a gallery as a curator. Well, assistant
Oh,
curator.
wow.
Yeah, from the UK to here. So that's why I moved here.
Okay.
But yeah,
So you're not from Germany
no,
originally.
no, 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 no. Originally I'm from Italy, south of Italy.
Oh, Italy.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. And yeah, but I left Italy when I was 19, 18, 19. So a
Yes.
long time ago.
Okay.
Are
I'm
you
sure it's
from
not that long ago.
Are you from Australia, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
born and raised.
born and raised.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I haven't left the city
Oh, okay.
for 33 years. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
haven't
where are you
left.
located now?
Gold Coast. So I've lived on the Gold Coast all my life.
Okay.
Um, Quite frankly, I've lived in the same property as well. So a few years ago, we knocked down and rebuilt, and so
Yeah,
my wife and I and our daughter, we live we live in the front section of the property, and then my mum lives in the back section.
that's
So
great.
haven't left either. Haven't
Yeah,
left here.
yeah. Would you
Yeah,
move at some point maybe or
I don't think so. No.
okay.
Um,
Must be good living there then.
out. Well, we're quite like we're 20 minutes away from the beach. We're 10 minutes away from like the hinterland, like the forest.
Hmm.
Um, and we're an hour away from, I guess, the main city of our state. But the Gold Coast is it's a city as well. So
Yeah.
there's no need to leave, I don't think,
What?
especially if the algorithm works in your favor as an artist and you can get work, then you
Yeah,
know
for sure. Yeah.
I don't think you have to leave.
No,
So
no,
yeah,
that's if it
that's
works
been
for you,
good.
why you should. Um,
Mm.
yeah, are you in your studio right now or is it house?
The at house. So
Yeah.
I don't have a studio. I just work in our
Mm-hmm.
main living space. So
Yeah.
there's room for it for now. So
Yeah, you do produce like
but
quite big works as well. So
yes, I do, but fortunately, I've been making them to order, so they don't stick around. So
nice.
that's good.
That's good. Yeah,
But
yeah.
but in our hallway, we got installed like a gallery system, so
Mm,
where you just use the wires and then you can hang the artworks from.
yeah.
So if I'm ever at a point where there's just too much work, I can just hang them up in the
Hang
hallway.
that. Yeah. So in this new episode of the Artful Podcast, guys, we are joined by Anthony, and it was a pleasure for me to have this conversation with you today. Because I follow you on Instagram, and your art is quite impressive. It's really nice, it's fantastic. And yeah, welcome to the podcast, and thank you to be part of the podcast.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for having me. I look forward to the conversation.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the people that might don't know you, and so we can start there. Your background.
Yes. So my name is Anthony Peters, and I am the creator of Artem Patet, which is a Instagram platform where I've chosen to keep my more personal work separate, and I've created completely just textured artworks
Mm,
that are more abstract. So I'm used to creating artworks that are more figurative, but this was another outlet for me to explore other art forms, and I came across textured art, and it's quite popular at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like it's replaced resin art, to be very honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I started probably about a year and a half ago, I think, or maybe it was about a year ago. And um, and since then, I've just kind of been waiting for it to become a thing, and it absolutely has become a thing. There's a lot of textured artists out there,
Yeah.
um, but um, but hopefully, at the moment, I think I've found a technique that really works for me, and that not many people are doing at the moment. So I'm just going to ride this wave. It's been really amazing to go
Nice.
from, what is it, you know, 50 people following you, just friends
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Instagram, and then and now I think it's 57K now, which is I
Big
don't know how to
audience.
process that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is,
it's good.
and I don't know
Really
how to
nice.
process that, to be very honest. But
It
I'm just
sounds
wait.
it sounds
I'm just
yeah. When you realize that you're talking to, or you're showing your art to 50,000 people on the same platform, is it can be overwhelming. It can be a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, at least people following.
Hmm.
I think that the numbers reduce in terms of who actually sees your work regularly on the feed,
Yeah.
which is the reality of it.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I've been able to get, um, at the moment, I think I have 9 orders to complete, like, commission artworks. So it's cool to see that
Yeah.
translate into, um, artwork sales, so to speak. So
It's yeah,
that's been really amazing.
it's been really interesting for me as well using social media. Obviously, it's nothing as big as yours, but it's all my commissions lately are all from social media. There is nothing
Mm,
better right now to promote your artwork that social media, and gives you a platform
mm.
that everybody, literally everybody, can see it. And that
Yeah,
happened to me as well. Like, it's social media is become such a big part of what you need to do to create your audience, your business, your yeah, it's so important right now. I want to come back to
yeah.
you.
Especially,
Yeah, sorry,
yeah.
I was
Sorry,
gonna
go on.
say I want to come back to you to on the social media aspect, because it's quite interesting
Mm-hmm.
as an artist, and no um because I think not all the artists understands how social media can be really helpful for you. But let's take it a little bit back. Are you What's your background in, like, did you ever study school? Did you go to any art school, university, or anything like that? Or is this something that your passion, and it grew like just doing it?
Yeah, I never went to
Mm.
university. Um, I I started taking art classes when I think I was 11, until 16. So, like, the last year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think I had a natural talent before then. So my parents just wanted to encourage that. And fortunately, there was an art teacher just, like, across the street,
Yeah,
um,
that's great.
who held who held art classes, and she taught me some techniques that have helped me since today. Um, but that's all I really did. I never went to art school. I did art in school, but it was very different.
Yeah.
It was more theory than, technique, and that
Mm-hmm.
was, I didn't really like it at the time.
So it was all like
So
most it was a lot of like self-taught kind of process,
yes,
and which is I did university and college doing art, but a lot of what I know is from before and from after university, that I decide to explore myself, If there is not that part of you driven that wants to explore many things, even if you go to university, it dies there and it doesn't go anywhere. Like it is literally for how I think. It's up to you on. So you don't need university, but at the same time, yeah, it's up to you. If you want to learn, you learn by, because there is so many things online that you can just explore and you can just see and replicate. And yeah, it's up to you how you develop your practice.
Especially in the last few years, absolutely, there's more access to information.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
because of a lockdown, or the lockdown, COVID, or the online present became such an important part of like everybody life, business, and even personal life, that it really accelerates the whole process by 10 years. Like it was such a like a big shock for everybody, that then realized people that they needed to realize how important is right now this, which has its pro and con, but as everything.
yeah.
Talking about the lockdown a little bit. I know it's thank God it's not as a present right now, that topic, and we are not near any lockdown yet. We never know. How did you deal with how the whole lockdown situation? Did you just dive into your art, and how was it for you?
I believe I did so, yeah. I mean, probably for the first few weeks of lockdown here in Australia, I think it lasted for about a month. Nationally, I believe, but I'll just speak from my experience from my state. It was actually kind of nice to not go anywhere, but
yeah.
and fortunately, into for that first part of lockdown, I could work from home. So, and I think that was the big catalyst for everyone, right? If you could work from home, you did. And I think a lot of businesses realized that, you can just work from home. We don't need to pay rent in a building, you know. But in terms of the art, I think it did, it gave me more time to reflect on what it is that I want to do. And what was it? I think I was 31 at the time. And I had been and I had been slowly progressingly been practicing my art form. But as you become an adult, you have a lot more responsibility. So so a lot of the times that takes, that's your main concentration. How do you pay for your bills and everything like that? But as I've gotten older, it's like, well, I need to invest time in what I'm naturally good at and what I enjoy. So then I can hopefully set myself up and do this, and make a living from it, hopefully. So it's been a slow progression up until that point, but I think that really kicked it off for me.
The same, literally the same thing happened to me. It's during lockdown that I always wanted to do a podcast. I always wanted to do a full-time, doing art full-time, but I never really pushed myself to do it. And I was always worried about, I need to pay bills, I need to do this. So I always had like a second job, but because of the lockdown, I realized we could like I need to do this right now. If I don't try to do this right now, I'm never gonna be able to do it, and I will regret this for the rest of my life. So for me there was a big shift on how I was thinking regarding like my heart, like works and stuff. So I was in the same situation. How did you because okay, let's talk about the textile, because right now it's such an important part for like art. It's a big wave of artists that do stuff on textile. And I went to the Biennale in Venice, and there was a lot of, I would say that 20% of art was textile, which is not, you can never see anything like that anywhere. Textile was always like, it was always there, but it was always in the shadows. It was never that prominent for in art fair or exhibitions or anything like that. Did you always think about doing textile art, or it was an evolution of your personal like artwork?
I think it was an evolution, but I think with most art, with most artists, you get inspired by other artists, and I was coming across several works that were texture. So whether it was just this thick texture on the canvas and that was it, or if it was really manipulated and it was really crafted from, I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Maybe I can experiment with it. And I experimented with very thick layers of paint, and just using thickening agents to with the portraits that I was creating at the time, which you won't find on ARTFUL, but on my personal Instagram, you'll find those pieces. But so I was experimenting with that, and it was kind of a statement about COVID at the time too. So
okay,
like smearing the subject's face with paint, kind of like with the mask wearing. So that also inspired inspired my work the pandemic. So so yeah, I was doing that, and then eventually I didn't realize that you could fully manipulate like this thick medium, and you could shape it and you can craft it almost like a piece of sculpture. So then I started experimenting with that, and then the more that I did it, the better it looked, and I realized what needed to happen. Because sometimes the medium can be quite expensive, especially if you're starting out. It's like you have to really invest in the materials. But fortunately, but fortunately, I could invest into that because I was doing other work to finance the art. So I learned that for me, with what I wanted to do, I had to be more thicker. I can't just be trying to be all scarce about it. So then it created more of an impact. It creates more shadow, and when it hits the right lighting, and so the technique that I've done with the medium and palette knives, it's the technique that you see today. So, and I'm sure that I can evolve from that. I will evolve in the near future, because you have to. And as I said before, and as you've said, you've seen an increase of these textured artworks, or these textile artworks in the last year. And so, but with that, I think it is important as well as an artist to evolve as well, and that's what I'll be doing as well. In the next few years.
On the demanding of what kind of art?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's important to evolve, because eventually there's going to be more people doing it, and how do you differentiate yourself, your work
I
from
agree.
others?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you should maybe I don't know how can I say it, change your perspective or your point of view to just follow the trend, let's say, but you can incorporate for sure what it's happening in the art world more, to make your art more relevant. It's more for for that kind of yeah, for that way, yeah, I agree. As an artist, you should have always an eye on what's happening, and
Mm.
yeah, make adjustment and maybe try to understand what's going on, and yeah, make your art relevant to the
Yeah.
scene for everybody to appreciate your art, for sure.
Mm.
Did you okay? Social media played a big
Mm.
part in your um, business side of your practice. How how did you start? How did you what was your strategy behind? And did you always wanted to make a big platform for your artwork, or it was you just see that was happening, and so you realized there was potential
Mm.
for your platform to help your business?
I have been using Instagram for years, so probably it ever since it started. I think I probably started using it around 2011, 2012.
Hmm.
So I have been on Instagram for a while, um, and posting artworks and trying different things, buying bots, buying likes, buying followers because you know when when I was younger, you want something to happen. So
Yeah, you
and
don't
then
you don't know
and
that.
then you
Yeah, it
yeah.
will not help
So so
you.
I so I try. No, I mean no, it didn't.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
but but you can't. But I think a lot of people used to do that in the
Hmm.
past, and then Instagram's cracked down on it, and plus it's not genuine anyway. I think sometimes at the time it's kind of sold to you as like these are real people that are, and the floodgates are open, so to speak, because you want to go viral. I think every artist or some people, they want to go viral for different
Yeah,
reasons,
yeah.
but as an
It's
artist,
why we use the social media to push our artworks. Yeah, for sure. It's a lie if you say I'm on
yeah.
social media, but I don't want to be seen. Like, what's the point?
Yes. But anyway, that that didn't really happen for me. So I think it was good because it humbled me and made me realize like how that there are many amazing artists out there, and they don't get and they don't get recognized on social media, or they don't get recognized by art galleries,
Hmm.
and that's just how it is, unfortunately. So I did a business course maybe maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago, and as an artist, we concentrate on our works, and rightly so. We
Hmm.
absolutely have to make sure that we create work that we are proud of, and create work that will connect with people. Um, but I think most artists, well, at least for me, I'm not business savvy at all. Please excuse me if you hear a baby cry. So that's
No,
just
no, no. It's fine.
my daughter at the moment. Um, so yeah, I never knew how business worked. I racked my brain on like, how do these artists, or how do these people that have their own businesses, how do they make a living out of it? Like, I don't understand how it works. So I chose to do a business course with a recommendation from someone who I knew who was a creative, and doing this business course helped me kind of understand a bit about business, and who to. And I know that a lot of artists don't like business talk, which is fine. If it happens for you organically, that's amazing. But for most of us, it doesn't.
Yeah,
So you have
yeah. No,
to.
no, it's true.
So for me, I had to learn all this business stuff, which I hated at the time, like probably a year ago, a year before doing it. But then I realized this is something I have to do. So I learned about like having a target market, who is your perfect customer, or in
Mm-hmm.
this case, what does your art buyer look like? Where do they live? How much money do they earn? What are their interests? Where do they go? And things like that. You kind of imagine who your art buyers would be. So then I started Art Tempetet to create works that would target a certain demographic. So, and at the start, that's what I was doing, and then I hated it. Just trying to do things to appeal to the market, and then I'm like, well, I just got to find something that I would be happy to,
Do
create
yeah.
works on a commercial level. And so that's where I found textured artwork. And fortunately, my target art buyer, that was kind of their style anyway. They liked minimal work. They liked minimal colors. They like coastal. So I'm from the Gold Coast, and it's quite a coastal city. So that
Mm-hmm.
was my target market. And at the time, I was following a lot of interior designers and builders, and like for in my age at 33 and a bit older, if you have the finance, you go and you build a house, or you renovate a house and you make it this Mediterranean, thing. That's kind of what's going on at the moment. So that was who I was targeting at the time. And fortunately, I scored someone who was building, wanted to commission artwork, and it was the first large scale commission artwork that I had done
Textile.
with my texture with
Mm.
texture, and the house was like, it was a mansion. It was like a new built mansion, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I'd like to have more of that. And then I think there was a local influencer who saw that artwork as well, and then she wanted a piece as done as well, and that was kind of her style, like this coastal minimal
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, artworks, and they both had come across textured artworks, and they happened to see my work as well. Um, and then but in terms of social media, so that's kind of how it all worked. I wouldn't have been able to get those clients without Instagram, and I only had 800 followers at the time. So it started with 200, and then it slowly grew as I
Mm.
tried to be more consistent with creating work and posting it. But then I heard about Reels, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll try it, you know. And because I had done videos before, like I would document my artworks with a time lapse and post it as a video, and it doesn't never went viral, but it was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear the child? Can you hear my baby cry at the moment?
No, no,
I'm
no, no, no,
sorry
no.
about that. Hopefully it's not too loud.
No, no, no.
So
I can hear. It's good.
okay. Um, and so yeah, I heard about Reels, and I saw it was kind of, apparently it was getting favored with the Instagram algorithm. But I didn't do one. I just kind of created a video, and there was another platform where I was selling my artworks from. It's called Blue Thumb Australia. So it's an online gallery where a lot of artists
Mm-hmm.
they put their works in, and they reached out and they're like, can you record yourself creating an artwork? And I said, yeah, sure. I'm actually working on one on now. And I cut the video and I sent it to them, and they posted it as a reel. And that kind of, to me at the time, it gained like 2,000 likes. I don't know how many people viewed it, but then my account started growing just from them sharing that. So
That's great.
then I'm like, okay, this is slowly growing, and this is cool. And then I decided to do a reel for myself and post it on my um, on my ARTFUL
Mm.
account. And the first one did really well. It was almost on par with the other one, on the other platform
Yeah.
that shared my work. And then I did the second one, and then that was the one that went viral. So I think it's probably like 32,000 likes now. maybe I'm taking a guess. Maybe now it's like 600,000 views, or maybe it's close to 1 million. I'm not 100% sure
Yeah,
on that. Because I don't like to look at the
too
I
much
don't
of
like
those
to look
numbers.
back at the
Yeah,
posts, and no, it's a
it's
bit
um,
ridiculous.
it's fun. It's funny the something that you said before. Artists don't like to talk about business and stuff like that, and I I never understood that because I grew up. I always
Yeah,
wanted to be an artist, yes, but I did graphic design when I was in Italy, and I did 5 years of graphic design. And in
yeah,
graphic design, you study because you need to do basically advertisement. You study marketing and you study
yeah.
business, and I always had that
Hmm.
in my mind. Even when I decided to do my art and try to build a business that will help me
Mm.
maybe doing what I really want to do, that I know in the art world will not make as much money, because it's more like for what I do paintings that are more commercially
Mm.
friendly, let's say, and then my drawings are a little bit more on art project, so they have like a social background. So it's about immigration, it's about refugees. Um, this kind of art, I know that it doesn't sell. It's not something that will pay you to do exhibitions, but it's not money that will change your life. So I always have that painting side that will help me to sustain myself and try to build a business. And I never understood why is an issue with this art, like with artists, that they say no to that kind of thinking, which is, yeah, I think it's wrong. It's you should think like that. You should, it's good for you to, because I still do what I love. I still painting. I still decide what I want to paint. The portrait that I want to do, but I know it's a fun thing to do. It's not that deep. It's not that serious as the drawings that I might produce. So I completely agree with your way of thinking and using social media right now. And it's been for years now. It's not only now, but it's
Mm.
such an important part of what you need to do to stay relevant and stay in front of people. You need to be there all the time for people to remind you that it's, yeah, you're doing art and they can contact you. So I completely
Yeah,
agree
and I
on.
think yeah, but if I can speak into why some artists may feel uncomfortable in terms of business.
Yeah.
Uh, for my experience, I just didn't know how.
Mm.
I had no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I had a lot of frustration with that. But perhaps for some artists, from what I've heard, it's like, oh, I don't want to sell out, or they don't want to be manipulative in a way. And sometimes there's this misconception with business that you're manipulating people to buy your product.
Yeah.
But if you actually really look into it, you're not manipulating at all. You're solving a problem. You're fulfilling a need or
And
a
need
want.
somebody, yeah, because those people
Yeah,
want your heart. It's not they are like tricked in by your heart. So
yeah,
it's so like, yeah, perspective of seeing it in a different way. You don't have to see it in that negative aura. It's more about you being there for something, that for somebody that wants something like that. It's
yeah. And
simply,
sometimes
yeah.
art can fulfill many different roles. It can be a heart connection. It could be functional, like a piece of furniture or a piece of sculpture. It's a
Yeah.
piece of decor. I think my work is more decor than anything, but then some people are really touched by it as well. It's like, oh, it reminds me of the ocean, which is
Yeah.
absolutely what my what my pieces are inspired by, nature, and natural forms like sand and water patterns. But yeah, I think that's why some artists, they don't feel comfortable about marketing themselves, and I can understand that even from a person kind of looking at an art account that has several thousand followers. You wonder how the heck did they do it? Like, did they pay for all these followers? Do they pay for all these likes?
Mm-hmm.
Is it organic? But from my situation now, being on the other side of it, and I have to say this, I understand that social media can be very fickle. So
Yeah.
at the moment, they're favoring they're favoring textured art, and if it's something that you're interested in, or any type of interest, it's going to flood your feed, right?
Yeah.
Especially with these reels. But it can change. I see a lot of like furniture businesses or other artists or other creative businesses, and they have several thousand followers, but their engagement actually isn't that great. They might have 200K followers, and I've got 57, I think, at this point in time, and my engagement at the moment is a bit better than them. And
Yeah.
but I know it's just because the algorithms kind of changed, So I'm not being negative about it. I'm just being
Yeah. No,
I'm
it's
just
true. No,
realistic.
yeah.
The tide will change, even for me. So I hold on to this extremely lightly. And even though right now I am getting a lot of orders in and I'm getting a lot of interest, more than what I've been used to like a year ago, I understand that this is a wave, and
It might
this is
change.
a wave that I'm willing to, and it will change. If I happen to ride this wave again, then that's amazing, and that's such a blessing. But I'm not holding on to it. So
Yeah.
when the engagement drops, and then I get 57 likes, because this is what happens. You have accounts that have thousands of followers, and they only get 57 likes, and it looks embarrassing because it looks like they paid for all that, so it was
Yeah.
never genuine. But that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
You people lose interest as well, or they don't see your posts anymore. They don't see your art. So I think it's important for artists as well, if something happens to go viral, especially if you use a reel. It's exciting. It absolutely is. And if it equates to sales with artwork, pick
No,
up on what we're
it's
talking
something
about.
that, yeah, for sure, it's something that you need to keep an eye and try to use on your favor, which is why not? It's a tool. I always say it's a tool for you to 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 develop your business and your side of the business. But obviously, it's not something that you need to get into. You need to be sucked into it, because then once you start
No,
looking at
absolutely not.
that's one day when you start looking at the number all the time and try to make it go viral on like forcing it, it's not a good
Yeah,
mindset to have, for sure.
no.
For
And
sure.
also another point that I had learned with this business course that I did, in terms of your product and how you market it. It has to be genuine, and it has to come from a real place.
Yeah.
So for me, even though I had reels, because apparently you get more engagement on it, I still did it in a way where I had my own twist with how I document my work. So I actually am a graphic designer as well.
Mm.
So, however, I had worked in print rather than
Mm.
marketing.
Yeah.
So even though I worked as a graphic designer, I knew how to make things look pretty,
Yeah.
but not so much the full package. So, which is what I'm learning now as I'm venturing,
Yeah.
not only with my current job, but with other clients, with other freelance work that I do, and also running my own business with the art as well. So for me, how I chose to document my work, I chose to do it my way. I noticed that with certain reels, they use like a quote from, I don't know, TikTok, like these weird audios, whether it's motivational or they do like what's trending, or like oh, Harry Styles' new song is out now, so use this song for your reel because then you'll get more traction. Like, I don't care. Like I'll use it. I'll use a song from the 90s because it's got that vibe that I want. Or I'll use I recently did an all black textured piece, and that's totally like my thing. Like that's my vibe. So then with the music, I just used like some industrial, like kind of dark sounding song. So it was a complete contrast to what I was doing, which is very, light and, either a white artwork or like a natural kind of thing. So the music was more feminine, while this one was very masculine. So, but I just wanted to do it. And yeah, even though it may not have gotten as many likes as my previous ones, I just felt like that's what I wanted to do at the time. So as an artist, I think it's very important that, especially with reels or how you document your work, don't feel the pressure to follow trends, because I think, people will follow you. People will follow your work and what you put out there because of your own unique way of how you spin it in a way, or how you create your work. So
makes sense. Makes sense.
Don't feel the pressure to follow trends.
The people that will follow you are the people that want to see your art and not want to follow trend. So they will not. It will not make sense to do anything like that, or too extreme. Like, make sure that it's a trend. Make sure that's this and this.
But you don't have to use a Harry Styles song.
Let's talk about, you said before, your textile work, they're inspired of like these the nature shapes and oceans, and reminds of, because they actually do as well. So it's definitely comes across, and in a way that looks great. How did you what was your interest in this natural shape, and how did you get into this aspect?
I mean, to be very honest, I saw a textured artwork, and how it was captioned was that these pieces are inspired by natural, like, water patterns. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I kind of experimented and looked into other natural patterns. So I looked into water pattern, like, it was just going on Pinterest and seeing like the photography that was available, and looking at aerial shots of the ocean, or beachscapes where it's water, and there's rocks as well. So prior to doing this type of work, I was also experimenting with somewhat kind of like a resin art look, where most resin art, they've been inspired by the ocean, and some of them look super realistic. So I kind of did my own version of that with palette knives, and did coastal works. And once again, I come from a coastal city, so that was what was sellable at the time. So with the textured art, it was kind of like going back to previous works that I had done before, but giving a different context to it, not using the bright blues, but using a very limited color palette that was more creams and whites. So yeah, I was just inspired by particular work, and I did my best to absolutely not copy it,
Mm.
but try and find the essence of like what really works with what really worked for them, and how can I do it for me, and hopefully how do I do it better.
Yeah, it's something that
Yeah,
happens every day. Like obviously, it's not about obviously if you copy it, like you will see you will see it. It's not, but we have so much influence of like images in our face every single second. There is no way you don't get
we
influenced
do.
by art and by other people artwork. So there is nothing,
Hmm.
obviously there's nothing wrong with that, and taking inspiration by something that for you, because you see so many pictures, but if that picture stayed with you, it's for a reason. So it's why you go interested in that. It happened because it needed to happen that way, and you go interested in that kind of art, and obviously then you make a work for you with your own spin, and
Yeah,
um that sounds pretty much how every single artist works, because there is no way you come with
yeah.
a completely original idea right now. It's almost impossible.
Whether you want to admit it or not, that's
Yeah,
how it works.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no way. But Anthony, I don't want to take too much of your time. Your if you wanna before we go, if you wanna plug anything, your social media, website, anything that you want, so the people can go and
Mhm.
find you.
Okay, well, in terms of my textured artworks, you can follow um, my account on Instagram called artem.patet. So it's ARTEM dot PATET. And there will also be a link to my personal account as well, which is Anthony Peters Artist. So you'll see my other artworks on there, and
Hmm.
also my performance artwork as well. So I'm a performer too, and I create speed drawings with music as well. So I document that too. So I actually have
Oh yeah,
a
we
few
need to
things
do
going
another,
on.
and we need to do another podcast about that. That sounds
Okay, it's very different,
it sounds pretty good.
and
Yeah.
I think yeah. So I'm a performer as well, and I perform locally too, and that's just a whole other that's a whole other side
Yeah.
um, as
But
well,
yeah, I will
and
put
probably another conversation.
yeah, I will put all the links down in the description so people
Thank
can
you.
easily go there. Thank you very much, Anthony, for the conversation. It was a great was
Thank
even
you.
yeah, it was such a great talk about textile and the business aspect, obviously, of being an artist, because it's important to talk about that as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much, and all the best to you and to the viewers who and listeners who have tuned
Great.
in. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Hope to speak to you soon. Bye.
Thanks. Oh yes, too. Bye.